guess who's back on camera? Why, that would be me. I took a look in the mirror today and I thought, well, the hair could use some work, but it's not that bad. It's all right. So I decided that I was going to bring Crochetter on today because Crochetter is my equivalent of a timeline cleanse. Crochetter is such a joy. He is so much fun to have on. And we had a really, really good conversation earlier. So I thought, okay, well, why not bring him on to do like a little recap of the conversation that we had? Because I have to say that it is very nice to talk about movies and things that don't matter, things that are inconsequential, etc. So, oh, wow, that's a nice thing to say. Actually, it is a nice thing to say because I've been cultivating this look since I was in my 20s. So, now that you got your licks in, I hope that you are going to be able to go to your friends and brag about it. It's all right. I'm very, very lucky to be alive, and I'm aware of it. So, let me bring Crochetter on.
Hello,
Hello.
girl.
Hello, girl.
Hi. Hi. Good to see you back on camera.
Yeah, I gave it a lot of thought, and I'm gonna go full screen for a second, just a second. Oh,
Oh,
hang on.
what have you done,
Okay,
girl?
okay, here I am. So, I wanted to stay off camera because, as you can see, I've got this scar on my forehead, and I had a lot of stitches in there, and it looked like I had a caterpillar on my forehead. And so I thought, nah, why can I not bring... Oh, there he is. There he is.
But it looks so much better when you first showed me a picture after you
Yeah.
came out of the hospital.
Oh, it was awful. It
I
was
mean, the
awful.
stitches were beautiful. They really stitched this very well.
Yeah, they
But
did.
it was a lot fresh out of the hospital.
Yeah, I looked like I had a caterpillar on my face. So now that I just have this scar, it's like, it could have been worse. This is where my head smacked the steering wheel. So, again, it could have been worse. All
Yeah, I
right,
think we have
so,
to think about something after everything is healed up in your foot and in your rib, and after the cancer, we need a little fresh up program,
right,
you know, where we both are
right.
going to the clinic next on bed next to each other and holding hands, and then
That's
say,
right.
"Do it."
Yeah, just do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Now, the bad news is that I do have neuropathy in my right foot. So it's very tingly and numb. But the good news is I can deal with it. It's okay. I'm walking, I'm wearing regular shoes. I took the fucking boot off because I couldn't take it anymore. And because there was so much friction that I was getting skin infections on my ankle. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna rewrap my ankle and I'm gonna see if I can sustain my weight. So I've gotten rid of the walker.
Not the
And
ankle.
yeah, the ankle. Yeah, the ankle. The ankle of all the body parts to be injured, the ankle. The ankle.
Yes, you should go live with Amberlynn and talk about your ankles.
Imagine. Imagine.
Imagine, no, this is, I cannot, no. Not you and Amberlynn together on a live stream. Never in
No.
a million years.
No. 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 But I can live with neuropathy. It's okay. If I have to maybe take some gabapentin to get rid of it, I'll do that. But honestly, I am so grateful to be walking that
Hmm.
I don't give a fuck about tingling and numbness and all of that. I'm doing well. So I
Or when
did
I had
want,
my knee
yeah.
operation years ago, I was putting cortisone on
Hmm.
my knee because it was so itchy and it
Yeah.
drove me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a pretty thing.
Well, the cortisone cream that I was using was not working at all.
Oh,
And so I finally just changed the dressing and said, that's it. The boot is creating more problems instead of solving them. So now I can, get up and down stairs and I can get, in and out of the car without assistance. And I've made amazing progress. My accident was on the 30th of March. And I am shocked. Although when I unwrapped the ankle and I could see the hardware, under the skin. And I thought, yeah, that's enough of that. So I'm just going to wrap it all up again.
done that in life, check. Never again. Thank you very much.
Right, right. No, thank you.
No.
So I'll just wait for it to heal, but so far, so good. So now I am one step closer to getting the rest of my treatment and, putting 2025 behind us. And that's it. And I put earrings on today. I haven't worn earrings in a month and a half because when I
Why
was in the
should you?
hospital, right, when I was in the hospital, they took all my jewelry off and
Yeah.
put it in like a little urine sample thing. And then I realized when I was setting this up, I thought, oh my God, I'm not wearing earrings. This is not good. So, okay, so where in the world do we want to start? I think I know.
Then please tell me, where
Well,
do we want to start? Because
I
it's a lot.
I do want to take a shot at Zachary Michael. I do want to say my piece about this. You and I are both dog owners, and we have
Yeah.
exchanged a lot of stories about raising dogs and,
Just
you
for the
know,
audience, Clara and I are so with our dogs that we share pictures or little videos when they are sleeping or when they
yeah,
are wagging a tail because we cannot help each other. We have to
that's
do
right.
that.
That's right. That's right. And when you're a dog owner and you go through your photo gallery, you'll realize that like 99% of the pictures of your dog are your dog sleeping. Or maybe that's just me, but I love taking pictures of my dogs sleeping. But
And why
anyway,
not taking
yeah.
500 more pictures of them sleeping when you have already 500? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I mean, the position is always a little bit different, and so you want to commemorate that. You want to make sure that it's not a forgotten moment. But
Yeah.
look, I was telling Karsten that both Sidhu and Bug were very, very naughty puppies. Bug is probably the most badly behaved boxer puppy I have ever owned. And I mean, it was relentless from the minute that I brought him home. He was ripping up magazines. He was hiding. He was making mischief. He was like nonstop. And I have never been around a boxer puppy that was that energetic. I mean, they
Hmm.
are energetic, but not like that. So I brought a trainer in, and the trainer said, well, first of all, you've got to change his diet. And second of all, and this was after he had had all of his shots and everything, she said, stop taking him to the dog park because they learn bad habits at the dog park. It's like the roller derby, you
Hmm.
know. And so gradually, I changed his diet, didn't make a difference. I got him neutered, did not make a difference. And with a lot of patience, I mean a lot of patience, I taught him certain things, responding to signals and, everything. And he was a barker. I mean, he used to look out the window and bark at people passing by. but he was a very, 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 like I said, very, very high energy dog.
Mhm.
And I did take him to the vet because he was just so like, and I knew that that was part of the breed, but I was worried that I was still feeding him the wrong thing and that I was maybe doing something to get him agitated or whatever. And the vet said, no, he's a boxer puppy. You know, he's going to outgrow it eventually. Just stick to the training regimen and you will be fine. You know, I
Yeah.
promise you that you will be okay. Not once did any vet or anybody, the trainers, nothing, suggest that I drug the dog. Never. Never did they say, oh, you need to put him on SSRIs, you need to give him tranquil. Never, never, never. All that they said was just wait, keep working with him, and he'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. It
And
took
that
a
is the
while.
other thing that we talked today about. That, and we are not talking about it ever again. That we are both scared of the moment when we are realizing our dogs are getting so old that they are not having these little cute habits anymore that
Right.
drove us crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we will miss them so much. And now we will never speak about this again.
Never, because it makes a shiver go up my spine.
Yeah.
But listen, if you own a dog and you have put your dog on medications and it's helped your dog, I am not judging you. I mean, obviously, every case is different and we do case by case by case. But it is obvious to me in reading those posts on Reddit and looking at the recaps and stuff that the dog, that Poe is really, really getting on Zach's nerves. And if you think that dogs can't sense that, I mean, they know. They know when you're in a bad frame of mind. They know when you're agitated. And they know when something is wrong in the house. They're very, very in tune with their humans. I take trazodone to sleep. I have taken trazodone ever since I went off Ambien cold turkey. And trazodone puts me out like this. And it's the only thing I can take to sleep. It's not habit forming, all of that.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine putting a tiny dog on Zoloft and trazodone. I'm guessing that he does it to knock the dog out so that it doesn't annoy him. And I understand that when you have a tiny little dog, it doesn't need to be walked as much as a boxer or a Malinois or a Corso or something like that. But they
But
still
maybe
need
this
to.
little Yorkshire has different plans up his sleeve.
But
And
they,
maybe he wants to
yeah.
be walked.
But they still need to go out because when they go out and they sniff, it's their version of reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
my doctor
any
told me that a dog that is sniffing a lot, it's good because then he gets tired
there
from the
you go.
sniffing. Because
Right.
there's the stimulants, his nose is the most sensitive organ in that moment. And when he sniffs a lot, and the more he has the capability to sniff, the easier it gets him down and he gets tired. And
Right. It is obvious to me that this dog and Zach are not a good fit. I think that sometimes, yes, I agree. Sometimes when we go to the shelter and we see a dog that's really, really cute, and we're going strictly based on aesthetics, and we decide that we're going to adopt a little tiny dog because it's so cute, and we bring it home, or any dog of any size, any breed, and we bring it home, and it's obviously not a good fit for the house for whatever reason, because it's fighting with your other dog, because it's snapping at the kids, or because it bonds with one person and starts barking at anybody who gets close to it, then if you can't modify the behavior through training, then maybe it's time to say, you know what, maybe I need to rehome this animal. The animal is miserable and so am I. So
And we cannot forget trazodone and Zoloft is not meant for animals, really.
I didn't think so.
It's a human medication. Maybe there's an equivalent in a lower, much more lower doses for animals when they are scared on New Year's Eve because of all the rockets and the boom, 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 or for whatever reason.
I
But
mean,
I never would
yeah,
give Brownie medication that I'm taking.
I would never do that either. Never.
No.
And I mean, there have been times when, like when he got neutered, and same thing with Sidhu, we got pain medication, and I think it was tramadol. And I've also taken tramadol, but it was obviously in doggy doses, you know. Hasn't he
Just a
had
tip on the side for my Brownie works great. A shot glass full of beer.
Oh, okay.
Totally ordinary beer, a shot. And that, it's always good when we are traveling, long hours on a train or plane or whatever.
Right.
He gets his shot and then he's not out of it, but he comes down. It helps him.
Oh
And he
God.
loves beer.
I just know, I know what we can expect now. That you're an animal abuser,
Of course I
that
am.
you spike your dog with booze, and I
Because a
can
natural
sense.
beer without any chemicals is far worse than a medication pill made out of chemicals.
Right.
So beer is something very, very natural. But if somebody wants to come for me, you do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Do your worst.
But the other problem that he was having with the dog is that it was peeing in the house all the time. And I guess he took it to the vet, and the vet took some x-rays and saw that there was something about the bladder. I don't remember what it was. And then he decided that he was going to go to a friend of his who's a vet, and that friend made some other recommendation. It is crazy. It is crazy. Did Poe get worse when Noel left and Judy died and all that? I don't know. I don't know.
What was it? Noel's dog, or was it Zachary's dog, the Yorkshire?
Well, they picked the dog out together, as far as I
Okay.
can recall.
Of course, a faggot dog. Who said this? That
Who
was
said that?
terrible, cast.
Who dropped
Stop
an
that.
F-bomb on my stream? Who did that? Oh, it was
Ashamed.
you.
Deeply ashamed.
Oh, okay. A gay
I'm so
man.
sorry.
I see.
A gay man, I know. How dare I?
Well, you know, we're both very homophobic, so.
Oh, of course we are.
And you just
Yeah, I
proved
have
it.
nothing else to do and going on in my life.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, my advice, rehome the dog. Rehome the dog. I don't know how old the dog is, but I don't think that a Yorkie will have a problem finding a new loving home. Maybe ask around among the friends. Maybe somebody wants to take him. But you guys are obviously not a good fit, you know. And if everything is stressing Zachary Michael out now, everything.
Oh,
So you don't need to have a living thing that is dependent on you getting stressed out because of your mood swings and your issues and everything else. Just do the right thing and rehome the dog.
can you imagine waking up to that guy in the morning and you know the suffering starts?
No,
Me either.
no,
Nope. Nope.
absolutely not.
Or maybe, I mean,
Absolutely
I
not.
have never tried this concept of, but I read a little bit about it, that you are starting over with your dog from one day to another. You
Yeah.
have to, you are making for yourself decisions. Okay, this is my checklist and it starts tomorrow for the dog and for me and both of us and so on. That, okay, we have a regiment, we are going out 3 times a day for each 1 hour and just start over.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the dog will not understand it. When you are
right.
slowly starting to change something, you have to really, boom, and now we are doing it different, and it will be great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But with what you said, with all the drama going on,
I mean, look, after I had Sidhu neutered, his personality changed completely and he became very, very submissive. And I had always had like a dream of rescuing a pit bull that had been used as a bait dog in dogfighting. And I saw Sidhu's behavior change at the dog park. And I saw him when he used to be very playful and used to approach dogs and they would just play nicely. And I saw Sidhu becoming a target for the other dogs because they could sense that he was submissive and they would take advantage of it, which is one of the reasons why if there were other dogs in the park, I stopped taking him because it was a lot for him. And I knew that if I brought a dog in, first of all, I couldn't because my building didn't allow that breed. It was a banned breed. But I thought if I bring a dog in that has a lot of trauma, like a lot of psychological issues, I don't want Sidhu being targeted by a dog like that. And so I thought, that's it. And I realized the only way I can bring another dog into the family is if I bring a puppy. That way, the puppy grows up. It doesn't have a lot of, bad habits or bad behavior. And that worked out. That worked out really well.
Or the other alternative that neither you or I would ever do, just taking our dog to the shelter and let him pick. Because it does not work for you and me.
No, I can't go to a shelter.
Because we are not going home with one dog.
No, I can't.
It's a problem.
No. All that barking and all that desperation and all that sadness, I can't. I can't even get close to one.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's Zachary Michael. Zach, just do the right thing by the dog, okay? Do the right thing for the dog. It depends on you. It can't let itself out. It can't feed itself. And it's meant to be a lap dog. It's meant to just sit on your lap. It's tiny. It weighs like, 5 pounds or something?
Yorkshire is not much.
No, they're not. They're tiny, tiny little dogs. So, I don't know.
Or Cops by Julie, thank you. Yeah, the implant that replaces the effect of neutering. Brownie had this for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Before he got neutered. Because after a few years, this implant had no effect anymore on him.
Oh.
He was strong. His urge for sexual activity was stronger than the implant. And so we had to cut off the balls. You are a man, Boo. You are a man.
What was I going to say? Anyway, okay, so that's Zachary Michael.
Yeah.
I've said what I had to say.
And please, Zachary, can I just request one video of you that you please go and buy a new bidet and film it?
That was said by a gay man, by the way.
Yeah,
A gay
not
man
using
said
the
that.
bidet in the vlog,
No.
but buying a bidet in a store for men, in a hardware store, and buy a bidet and film it. Thank you.
Film it. Yeah.
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 Not a big deal.
So I guess a bidet wasn't on his Amazon wish list
Oh, I have not checked.
for all the stuff that he needed his audience to buy him after Noel fucked off and took everything, including the bidet.
I mean, it must be a traumatic experience now every time when he's going to the bathroom and is seeing the thing coming out of the wall, but it's not going anywhere. This empty place,
Look at who's here.
Miss ATX, hello.
One of the rare examples of someone who has gotten weight loss surgery and actually had it stick.
And who can pull off a fantastic red lip.
And who is absolutely lovely, whose presence is always very, very welcome. And
But
yeah,
Clara,
that
what do you mean? One of the few cases that had a successful weight loss journey. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I know. I'm a shady bitch. I'm
How
sorry.
dare you? The shade.
Yeah, I was watching that Amber
we-
Lynn video where she was talking about how she couldn't get her Ozempic or GL whatever shot, the prescription renewed. And I didn't realize that she was doing telehealth. And I guess that they had some issues with her gallbladder or whatever. And it's like, bitch,
Not Amberlynn having issues with the gallbladder.
bitch, Go to a doctor. Go to a
Yeah.
doctor. I would advise her not to even try anymore because it's obvious it doesn't work with her. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you lost it again. That's all that really matters, right? So
Yep.
good for you. You look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And Crochetter is right. Nobody does a red lip the way Mrs. ATX does. So
Yeah. Bitch.
we are going to move on. In the chat earlier on, I dropped the trailer to Bambi. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get
No.
DMCA'd. But Crochetter told me some very, very interesting things about this new Bambi, including the origin of the Bambi story.
And
So,
I have to admit, not because I'm that clever, but I also had to Google it. And by the way, it would be great when everybody would Google their shit before they're talking about it. Just saying
yeah, that's true.
that Bambi was one of the books that was banned in the Second World War time period by the Nazis because it was originally written by a Jew. Of
Interesting.
course, I forgot his name.
Okay.
And maybe it came to Disney's mind when Walt Disney traveled over to Europe to get all the books from the Brothers Grimm, all the traditional European fairy tales at that time period. And maybe he was stumbling over Bambi and took the book with him and saw it as a great way to make a story out of it and to traumatize a lot of children and grown-ups for decades.
And I was telling Crochetter that there were 3 animations that traumatized me and one real life movie scene. There was Bambi was one, Dumbo was another, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice in Fantasia. Even more than Night on Bald Mountain. Even more than that. I mean, you're sitting there and you're watching Fantasia, and it's that beautiful sound score of Tchaikovsky and other, you're watching the little Chinese mushrooms dancing around to the Nutcracker Suite, and it's so wholesome. And then, boom, along comes the Sorcerer's Apprentice
And the brooms.
with the brooms, and
A lot of them.
Mickey almost drowning. And it's, I don't know, to me, it's very, very frightening.
It's a
Very
lot.
frightening. And of course, the tornado in The Wizard of Oz that's taken me decades to be able to watch again without having that, angst from childhood.
Not the angst.
Yes, the angst. The angst. But Bambi, the new one, I did not know
we have
this.
guys. We have Bambi 2025 now from France.
And it is live action, and it is not a Disney movie.
Not a Disney movie. No special effects. No animations. Every animal is real.
Every animal is real. And it was written and maybe directed, I guess, by the guy who did March of the Penguins, who won the Oscar for that incredible documentary.
Which traumatized me as a child.
It was a hard thing to sit through,
Yeah.
but it was beautiful. It was incredibly well done, but just hard to sit through. And I did not know that Bambi was not an original Disney story. I had no idea that it was based on a book, and that apparently it went into the public domain. And so this French company snatched it up. And can you imagine that all the animals are real? Because when Karsten first sent me the trailer, I thought, wow, this is some amazing CGI. Those animals look real. Oh, they are real. And I can't even imagine how many animal wranglers they needed on set for the deer and the rabbits and all the other creatures. But I will say, they decided that they were going to play down some of the more frightening aspects of the original animation, so you don't actually see Bambi's mother getting killed by the hunter. But in the trailer for this new one, there is a gunshot, and it sent me right back to childhood.
And maybe the director had the same idea. No, we don't have to show it. Just make a gunshot. People who are traumatized as a child will be traumatized again immediately.
That's right.
Maybe he is that clever. We
That's
don't know.
right. all the parents and grandparents who were traumatized as children when they saw the animation in the theater are now going to get re-traumatized. Even though you don't see Bambi's mother dying, you hear the gunshot. And I have to say, the scene where the dogs are chasing the deer, I was going to switch the trailer off at that point, but I was so intrigued, wondering if that was CGI, that I kept on watching. And I thought, God, those animals are so lifelike.
And there are so many shots in this trailer, for example, where little Bambi is playing in the river. You cannot tell a little deer, go please over to the river, jump cute around, and then we have our shot. For how long they had to wait to make this happen. I remember when I was watching, Arachnophobia, the spider movie from Steven Spielberg, a horror comedy. And they have in the big final this big tarantula in the basement, and the guy is chasing the tarantula with a spray can with a fire around.
Right.
And the tarantula is running and hiding, running, hiding for the fire, and there's no edit.
Yeah.
And then I saw in the making of that they were working with a cold and a hot air dryer.
Oh.
To make the spider stop and go, stop and go.
Oh my God.
So I'm wondering, maybe there are brilliant animal trainers out there who are saying, okay, I cannot give you exactly what you want, but I have an idea. And maybe just hold the camera on it and maybe you will like it. And I have one or two little tricks up my sleeve. And then we get an amazing shot, something that would really fit.
Well, I think this is just a theory. I haven't looked it up or anything. But in order to be a nature photographer, a documentary producer, you have to be blessed with an almost superhuman level of patience. And I remember seeing a behind the scenes, how did they do it, like mini doc. And I believe it was for one of the David Attenborough Life on Earth series.
Yeah.
And they showed how they got the shot of the bowerbird. I believe that that's what they're called. What they do is they're birds that are in the middle of nowhere, like Papua New Guinea or something. And they build these the male builds these very elaborate nests and decorates them with flowers and so on, to attract the female. And the mating takes, it's over in the blink of an eye. So you have to be ready to capture it. And it's a very, very rare sight. Well, what they did was they showed the cameraman and his assistants, and they schlepped out to the middle of the jungle, hours on foot, to get to the location. Yeah. They built like a little hut for the guy. And the guy was really big, okay? And he wasn't exactly a skinny mini. And they built this little hut where the guy had to crouch for days and days and days at a time with his camera pointed at this nest that this bird was building. And the funny thing is that the guy was eating candy bars, and he would throw the wrapper out, and the bird used the wrapper in the nest. To build the nest?
Okay, yes. Of course.
And then eventually, I don't even know how long it took. It might have been weeks. There was a female that came by and stuck around, and boom, there was a mating scene, and she flew off, and that was the end of it. But it took forever, and the guy was like folded up like a jackknife inside that bower, inside that hut. And it's hot as fuck out there too, very, very humid. And so this is one of the reasons why these guys deserve to be paid more than any other cameraman in any other discipline, because imagine being able to withstand those conditions in order to get a shot that you're praying doesn't happen when you're asleep.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe having a pee or something. So maybe that's why this March of the Penguins guy was the right guy. Maybe it's just that he has that kind of patience, and he got himself a crew that was able to work with these live animals. Listen, technologically, it is an amazing feat what they've
Yeah.
done. Amazing.
And we don't know how close this adaptation is to the original book instead of the Disney version. We don't know this because neither you or I have read Bambi ever.
Right.
And they have changed, for example, Snow White. We're always coming back to Snow White, aren't
Always. And we will return to it later, by the way.
we? That they have changed, Disney has changed a lot from the original book for the animation classic. And maybe they have done this for Bambi too, and maybe this Bambi version is even better. No idea. I have no idea. But also, funny enough, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels. I got not one note anywhere of this Bambi movie because it has already been out in Europe.
Oh,
It made spectacular 1.8 million at the box office.
that's all?
Yeah, in Europe.
Wow.
I don't know in how many countries this movie was available at all.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it's already in 2 or 3 weeks. It's coming out on streaming.
Really?
Yeah, and I have not heard a word about it.
Wow.
You would think that in the time of the Snow White drama, somebody would talk about Bambi, even though it is not Disney,
Yeah.
but because it's Bambi. No, I have not
Wow.
heard anything. I only, remember from last year, I told you that we get 2025 a new Bambi. But
Right.
this was all that I knew at this point.
And all that I had heard was that the same group of like red-pilled film critics were already complaining and saying, oh, they're going to dumb it down for kids because of the hunter and the mother and all that. And then I forgot about it. I had no idea that it had already been released. And it's already flopped? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is, at the end, at least an accomplishment that it is, you have only, the animals are also not talking, by the way. You have
Right.
one female narrator and is telling us the story. And the movie is, I think, 80 minutes long. So really not that long. And you have only the animals doing what they are doing,
Wow.
which I
That
think is an
is-
accomplishment.
That is something. Oh, and you and I both have recommendations for the people.
Where do we start with the recommendations?
Yes, you and I have recommendations for the people. Hang on, let me bring mine up. Okay, so I was pottling around on Netflix after watching Black Mirror season 7. And I watched a documentary called A Deadly American Marriage, which is really, 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 really good. It's really good. It's shocking, but it's in the same, it's just as good as the other Netflix true crime stuff.
Yeah.
So I recommend it, and I told Crochetter, and he recommended something to me.
Yes, and it's only a 3-parter, also on Netflix, about a crime show about, it's called Crime Scene Berlin. And the nightlife in Berlin is worth making crime scene about it, because Berlin is a lot.
Yes, so if you're curious about Berlin and you're curious about basically a serial killer who was prowling the nightlife of Berlin for victims, it is great. And I just started watching it and I love it. And I don't know why I clicked it off. Maybe I was sleepy or something. But so those are our recommendations. We've got 2 true crime recommendations for you if you're on Netflix and you've seen
Yeah.
Black Mirror or whatever. So anyway, we are going to move on to
Start.
the man that we both admire so much,
Tom,
Tom Cruise,
this little fucker.
the little fucker. The nerve of tiny little Tom Cruise. The fucking nerve of this man. Now, Crochetter reminded me today that the Oscars are going to have a new category
Yeah.
for Best Stuntman or Best Stunts or whatever. So, maybe now is the time for Tom Cruise to win the Oscar that he was robbed of when He should have won for Born on the 4th of July.
Imagine having this career in cinema for decades, and then you get the Oscar for Best Stunts. It's a little bit shady, a little bit.
It's very shady.
But at
It's
the end, if
very
you have a golden boy at home, you have a golden boy at home.
right.
You know,
Well, the second half of Mission Impossible, the 7th Mission Impossible movie, Ghost Protocol, is it's Ghost Protocol, isn't it? I think it's okay. Is coming out later this month. And I am hoping that when it comes out, it's going to encourage people to watch the first half, which
Memorial
was
Weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. And we've got 2 coming out Memorial Day weekend. Very
Yeah.
different movies for very different audiences. But I wanted to share some stuff.
Don't share the picture of Tom Cruise in the bathing trunks that you sent me.
No, I won't.
That this guy is in his 60s. Stop it.
Look at this man. Look at that movie poster.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him. You know, the younger boomers and older Gen X have really redefined what it means to age. And I get it. He's had a lot of help. I understand. But, boy, look at this. And then,
To go from risky business
yep,
to this.
look at that fucker. Look
Yeah.
at him. Look at him. He looks great. He definitely does not look like a man in his 60s, nor does he act like one, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Let me take that off the screen, and I will present his latest feat. Hang on. Why is this not working? Okay, here we go. All right, this is his latest stunt, and I've muted it because
It's too much.
really do not want to get DMCA'd. I'm not in the fucking mood.
No.
All right, so here he is. And this is nothing, by the way.
His bored face.
Look at him. There he goes with his GoPro or whatever that is. Out he goes.
And bye. Again.
Look at him. I mean, just watching him skydive gives me anxiety.
And he's not simply falling down, he's making tricks.
Yeah, of course, because he has to show off.
Yeah.
He just has to. He can't help himself. Tom Cruise is one of those actors that I started to like after I saw Mission Impossible, the first one. And then I thought he was great in A Few Good Men, and he was amazing in Tropic Thunder. And I was telling Karsten that I wish that Justin Theroux would write him a script for that character, or a comedy that he could appear in, where he could do what he did in Tropic Thunder, because he was amazing. Amazing. And I didn't know it was him. And he was uncredited. And it was
Yeah.
only after that I realized, holy shit, that was Tom Cruise. And he was funny as hell, and he's a great dancer.
Maybe even now that we are getting The Naked Gun, the remake,
Yeah.
maybe this kind of humor would have been great for Tom Cruise.
Something.
Liam Neeson, I'm not sure about that.
No.
But
I mean,
Tom Cruise and The Naked Gun, somehow it works in my head.
Well, I'll tell you. This is a guy who knows how to sell a movie. He knows how to fan service. You know, he's always cordial and polite on the red carpet. He signs autographs. He takes pictures. And I was telling Karsten, who hadn't seen the first half of Ghost Protocol, is that the movie starts with a little PSA from him and from Christopher McQuarrie, who's the director, where they're thanking the audience for going to see the movie in the theater. And I'm telling you, between the stunts, the marketing of his films, and everything else. Uh, he is probably, even now, probably the last remaining movie star in Hollywood, like a real movie star. And despite the fact that the first half of Ghost Protocol underperformed, now that Will Smith is out of the picture, it's
Yeah.
Tom Cruise that's it, really. And Karsten, you sent me a trailer for that new A24 movie, starring The Rock.
Oh, yeah. We have Oscar buzz
Yes,
surrounding The Rock, Dwayne Johnson,
of all people.
of all people, with a new amazing fighting movie produced by A24, who had already in the past 5 or 6, 7 years a lot of success at the Academy Awards
Mm-hmm.
by making small movies, but make them interesting with good books, good scripts, and interesting casting choices.
Yep.
Hashtag Pamela Anderson.
Yes. And
And what was the name? I have to
what the
look it
hell
up.
is the name of that movie?
Me and Names. Dwayne.
Sorry. Sorry, we should have prepared.
Yeah, but it looks.
The Smashing Machine.
Thank you.
I am
But
going
the
to
trailer
share.
looks so amazing.
I am going to share the trailer in chat because it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, when Karsten first told me that there was Oscar buzz around The Rock, I'm like, you're a liar. Stop it. And he sent me the trailer, and it looks a lot like The Iron Claw, you know, which was also an A24 movie, which came out way too late and wasn't marketed properly. But it was an Oscar-worthy movie on every level. And this one, they're getting started early with this one.
Yeah, and
And
it's based on a true story, on a true character.
exactly like the Iron Claw, except instead of wrestling, I guess it's like ultimate fighting or something. And you will not recognize The Rock. The
No,
prosthetics are incredible. And it's
alone
a,
The Rock with
yeah,
a wig.
with a wig.
It looks completely different.
Yeah, he looks great. And it looks really touching and really, really good. So I can't wait. I
And
am
good old
so
Emily
ready.
Blunt as
And
his
good,
wife.
that's right. So there are two movies. One is Wicked Part 2, and we're waiting for the trailer. Poor Karsten.
May
Poor
15th.
Karsten.
May 15th, 9 o'clock in the morning, America time. 2 minutes and 31 seconds of goodness, please, on the 15th.
That's
Please.
right. That's right. So we've got Wicked Part 2, and we've got this rock movie. And I am excited for those two and really nothing else. Except,
And Mission Impossible.
oh, and Mission Impossible, stop it. Yeah.
And for little
Stopping me.
Karsten, Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, and we're getting to that now. Lilo and Stitch is coming out, live action. And
I cannot
Disney
believe how good it looks.
and Disney could finally redeem itself. Finally. And how shady of them to release the Lilo and Stitch trailer in the middle of what passed for a marketing campaign for Snow White, or right before Snow White was released in theater.
Yeah.
So I am going to play, again, silently, I'm going to play you some clips that Karsten was kind enough to send me.
Oh, the marketing.
The way they are marketing this movie is so brilliant. It is so brilliant. And they know who their target audience is. And they are going for broke, advertising this film. The trailers look incredible. Stitch is absolutely fucking adorable. And I'm not even up on Lilo and Stitch. I don't know anything about Lilo and Stitch. But I am so, like, in love with Stitch because he is so fucking adorable. The merch is going to fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a huge hit. So let's take a look at this one. This is Stitch in a popcorn bucket. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's
At the
visible.
AMC theaters.
Yeah, just like with when the new what's it called? The new Alien came out, when Romulus came out, they
Yeah.
also had an agreement with AMC for special popcorn buckets and stuff. But Disney has signed this marketing deal with AMC. Look at how cute this is. All
Imagine
right,
you're
so
standing there, you want your popcorn, and then this happens.
exactly. Look at Stitch. He pops out of the popcorn bucket. Look at how cute he is. Look at how cute. Oh, there
Oop.
he is with his little
Hello.
ears. Hello. Hello, Stitch. You are so cute.
And this is an animatronic, not a puppet. I'm just
That's
saying.
right. That's right. Okay, so there he
And
is
they have
popping.
this other thing, but I couldn't find this clip again, where Stitch is sitting on a director's chair in the ANC theater with a little scanner in his hand and is scanning the tickets of the audience.
See, that's the way to market a movie. And then let me show you this other clip that Crochetter sent me that is absolutely as cute as can be.
Oh, on the
Stitch
pier.
Stitch on the Santa Monica Pier. Hang on, let me bring him up. So
And
adorable.
they must have planned this a long time.
Yeah,
Because somebody has to make these animatronics
yes,
and to say, okay, where can we send, I don't know, 200 of them all over America?
that's right. There's Stitch on the pier with his ice cream, looking through the telescope,
That's right.
driving his little car, and people are just loving it. They are absolutely loving it.
And who wouldn't?
And I swear to God, Disney has had so many flops in a row. I'm sure that they are so relieved. And I was telling Crochetter, I wonder what the marketing department had planned for Snow White before Rachel Zegler ran her mouth. I wonder if they had some equally interesting and cute ideas for marketing the movie before everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Handing out red apples. I don't know what you
I
can
don't
do
know.
with Snow White,
I don't
except
know.
send 7 children as dwarfs through the streets and handing out handouts or something. I don't know.
Right? Right? So that gets us to
New Rachel Zegler drama?
Rachel Zegler drama.
Oh my God. It will not be boring, guys.
No,
This woman is delivering. She's handing out the goods by the thousands
yeah, she
that
can't.
she did not make.
It never ends with this girl. It never ends. So it's because you are our resident theater guy,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us what the new Rachel Zegler drama is?
Okay, I go only back a little bit. We all know that big Broadway shows or Broadway musicals have every 10 or 20 years a big remake. So the Americans and the Brits and Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber thought, let's bring out Sunset Boulevard again and make it totally different. Make it a technical extravaganza on stage in a way that we have never seen before and cast the most not likable, what is the
Unexpected, probably.
unexpected woman to play Norma fucking Desmond and cast Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls
Right.
as Norma Desmond. Alone this was Nicole Scherzinger plays Norma Desmond. Sure, of course she does. Yeah, well, at least she really can sing. And she's fucking beautiful. So
is.
they did this grand production of Sunset Boulevard in London in the Savoy Theatre, and everything was black and white and technic. She only has a black satin nightgown, cameras everywhere, projections, and all the good stuff. So that there is no comparison, and this is the brilliant part, to the original directed version for Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard. No staircase, no villa, no gold, nothing. No opulence.
But the show opens on the street in front of the theater
The
with
second act, then, yes.
with whatever the character's name is, with the
John
cameras
Gillis.
with the cameras outside that is being projected in the theater.
Yeah.
And so all the crowds are outside, and this was done to great effect on Broadway too.
Yeah.
And so there's like a whole interactive aspect to it, and the look of it is very, very minimalistic. And Scherzinger just wowed everybody, like nobody expected
No.
that she
Patti
would be this good.
LuPone was excited to see her.
Imagine Patti LuPone,
The original Norma Desmond.
right?
She's sitting there. I don't want to watch Sunset again. Oh, it's Nicole Scherzinger. I watched that shit. And in London, it was an enormous success. Won all the Olivier Theatre Awards. So the production went, of course, to Broadway, where it's currently running and still running. Okay. But now the success is so big that the director was thinking, in cooperation again with Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, you know what? Can we do that again? This concept of take everything away from the original show and make it unique and different. So they thought, okay, let's do Evita.
Right.
And let's cast somebody that is maybe also very unexpected as Evita Perón. Let's take Rachel Zegler.
Right.
And Rachel Zegler, she's rehearsing already, of course, for weeks for this production. And the ticket sales started this week. And in comparison, when word of mouth was running around, Nicole Scherzinger is playing Norma Desmond with this director and totally different, the ticket sold, it was gone. It was
Immediately.
over.
Yeah.
The first week, it was over. Yeah, for Rachel, it's also now over. The ticket sales are out there for a week, and it's not good.
No.
And this is the British audience that usually does not give a shit about any drama or anything.
Right.
They're not biting.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, she's too young to play Evita. Okay.
First third of the show will be great with her. When
Right.
she's the young girl coming to Buenos Aires, this will be great. But everything then up to Don't Cry For Me, Argentina afterwards.
Right.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Too
Nope.
young. And
Will not happen.
And another role that was made iconic by Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
So,
That was Patty's breakout role on Broadway.
oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Complete unknown, casted as Evita. She came along and she was a star.
And I'm guessing that Patti LuPone is not equally excited to see this version of Evita.
Oh, I have to call her.
So, what can one say? Now,
Yeah.
if there's one thing that we can all agree on, it's that Rachel Zegler has a fantastic voice. Okay. And she is basically a theater kid that got lucky when she was cast by Spielberg to play Maria in West Side Story. So it's obvious at this point that Rachel Zegler's movie career is dead in the water. It's over.
It's dead. According to IMDb, it's definitely
It's
dead.
dead. It's dead. She has nothing lined up, no projects, nothing. So it made sense that, okay, well, you revive something and you put her in the lead role or whatever. But unfortunately, the revival is Evita. It's not Grease. It's not, some lighthearted,
Little Shop of Horrors.
nothing. Right. Little Shop of Horrors, something like that. It's Evita.
Something cute.
Right.
Something where nothing can go wrong.
And this is when we can use the words too soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Steven Spielberg, who directed her in...
The new Queen of Shade.
Yes, Steven Spielberg, the legend, who I have never once heard badmouth any actor or actress that he has ever worked with. Never. Not even when Shia LaBeouf went crazy and gave an interview where he insulted Oliver Stone, Steven Spielberg, and Michael Bay all at once. and basically announced that he was too good for these sorts of trashy movies.
That was a clean
And
swipe.
exactly. Imagine being an unknown actor and you are given the stamp of approval by three huge directors, and then you go around and you badmouth all three of them and say, "No, I'm too good for this kind of crap, these matinee movies." So what does he do? He goes to make pornos with Lars von Trier instead, which is entirely his, you know, he can do that. It's his life,
Yes.
it's his career. But did you really have to stab those three guys in the back, the people who gave you so much exposure? But anyway, not even did Steven Spielberg say that Shia LaBeouf was an ungrateful, egotistical brat of an actor. Okay. However, he had some very not nice things to say about Rachel Zegler. And he apparently warned Disney about casting her in Snow White. And as Crochetter pointed out so eloquently when we were on the phone earlier, when Steven Spielberg calls, he's not talking to the director who's a nobody. He's talking to Bob Iger, you know, and saying, listen, this girl is a big troublemaker and you don't want her, you know. And keep in mind that when Rachel Zegler made that movie, she was, what, 19 or 20 years old? She was a nobody.
West Side Story, right?
What?
Well, you mean West Side Story when she
Yes.
was 19? Yeah.
Yes. She was a nobody. He plucked her out of whatever she was doing. And she was a fucking unknown, like ingenue. So,
It was a video casting, by the way.
oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. With thousands of other girls.
Right. And I keep on having these nightmares that he would have cast Jennifer Lopez as Anita. And I'm sorry, I glitched out a little bit. Instead of the
That's okay.
wonderful actress who won the Oscar for playing Anita, which was amazing. So Steven Spielberg, and you know, Crochetter and I were having, you know, we were kind of like daydreaming about how cool it would be if Steven Spielberg and George Lucas came forward and gave an interview to say what they really think
A panel.
about a panel, what they really think about everything.
Yeah.
You know,
What happened since the 2000s?
correct.
Because
George
the
Lucas.
only time that I've heard, when I remember correctly, Steven Spielberg saying something negative about somebody, it was in Jaws when he was bad-mouthing the fucking shark.
Oh,
Because it was not working.
right. And he was what, 25 or 26
Yeah.
when he made that movie. So, got it.
And he was angry at a machine, not a human
Right.
being.
That's right. But this is a man who is the consummate gentleman, who has conducted himself with such grace, and who has never, as far as we know, created a problem for anyone. But Rachel Zegler was the one who had the honor of being dissed by Steven Spielberg and having Steven Spielberg place a call to Disney to try and talk them out of, or warn them, because I guess
Yeah.
that the contracts had already been signed. There was nothing that they could do.
But now, Clara, now think that we have not talked about this earlier, but now spin it a little bit further. Somebody is warning you in your in your billion-dollar company that there's one girl that is really problematic.
Right.
Why? How weak are these men in the production of Snow White that they could not sit her down to say, "Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
We are doing Snow White my way. I am the director, not you." And they
Right.
all admitted that they followed her lead on certain topics in
Yes.
the movie, which was her fault. How can you, as a director, allow your female lead that nobody knows, still not knows, because we know
No.
West Side Story was not, unfortunately, not the big box office success.
Right.
So how can you allow that girl? Can you imagine being Gal Gadot?
No.
Standing next to her, what did she say? What is her idea? No prince?
Right.
Okay.
And can you imagine being Bob Iger and allowing yourself to be led around by the nose by this nobody and by Peter Dinklage and your little DEI team that convinces you that, yeah, the dwarves are a bad look. And that was
While
one of
you
the
are sitting in an office in the building with the 7 dwarfs outside in stone
That's right.
at the same time.
That's right. And by the way, this is why we talk about Snow White for the people who complain. And they're like, oh, we get it. We get it. You didn't like it. I never saw it. Crochetter saw it.
Yeah.
God bless him. But it's the totality of the Snow White story and the Snow White experience. And now it's spilling out onto the theater world. And what this proves, this Evita thing proves, is that Rachel Zegler is finished across the board. If she had one prayer of reviving her career, it was the theater. It was Broadway and London. And
Yeah,
now
and
that's over.
And she did last year on Off-Broadway, not Off-Broadway, in a tiny little studio theater. She did Romeo and Juliet. And that was a big success because she has, from the girls of her generation, they all feel for her, with
Right.
her, they love her. Let's go to Off-Broadway and watch our Rachel.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, God, it was a whole thing. Yeah, but this was so small that you cannot build a career on that. Not when you have been fucking Maria in Steven
Right.
Spielberg's West Side Story. You cannot do that.
No.
Also, who's her agent?
Well, her agent is someone who, if he or she were smart, would tell her, you need to go into hiding. I hope that you invested that Snow White and Evita money really well. You need to disappear for a good 5 years or so. And then don't call me, I will call you when it's time to reemerge.
Yeah, travel to Amber Heard. Join her on her island in Spain.
Oh, and did you see that Amber Heard just had twins? I saw that on Twitter and I thought, here we go again.
Ooh, who could that happen?
I don't know. I don't
okay.
know. I wonder if they're Elon Musk twins.
Well, it keeps her busy.
So, yeah, I mean, look at Amber Heard's career. And Amber Heard is someone who I think will never bounce back. And Rachel Zegler has gotten to the point now where it's too soon. It's going to be a disaster. Evita is going to get killed by the critics. And the sad thing is that Sunset Boulevard has been nominated for how many Tony Awards?
6 or 7.
Which is insane.
Which is a lot because it's a remake. They don't get even nominated in the big categories.
Right.
So
Right.
6, 7, it's a lot.
So, yeah. So, Evita, sorry.
So we have then on the Spanish island, we have Rachel Zegler, and then our flower girl from Ryan Reynolds.
Blake Lively.
Blake Lively together with Amber Heard. Sounds right to me, these three.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense.
Put a few cameras up, don't tell them, and just stream it.
And just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And sit around complaining about how everybody is so unfair and they're terribly misunderstood.
Poor ladies.
And Rachel Zegler is so young. Imagine torpedoing your career at that age. It's just mind-blowing.
Again, you do a video casting for West Side, and out of thousands of girls, you are the one, and you are doing nothing with it except destroying it.
Yeah.
It's the ungratefulness for me,
Yeah.
who has
exactly.
no understanding of the business. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was naive in my 20s in the business. I really was.
Right.
I will never forget, my first show was Dance of the Vampires with Mr. Polanski. That was my first real job after I was studying. With my diploma, hi, I'm here. Oh, we're doing Dance of the Vampire. Okay, Polanski. Okay.
As in the Roman Polanski.
Yeah, that
directed
one.
his own musical. The
And
Roman
I
Polanski.
and I was the one saying on stage because I had no idea. Okay, who's playing Sarah? Who's the youngest one? While he was sitting in the audience.
Great.
And they built him a tennis chair where the judge is sitting on, the high chair, so that he could see the stage like a movie. So you saw always Mr. 4.8 Polanski climbing up and down this thing the whole day.
Imagine. Tiny little Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
that happened.
Yeah. And when you're young, you do stuff that's stupid and you run your mouth when you shouldn't and you say things that you shouldn't. But you kind of try to regroup as you get older and you learn social skills
Yep.
and what you can and cannot say.
You get a call from your agent sometimes because they have heard something and just want
okay.
confirmation if this really happened that way.
Right.
And so you're learning.
Yeah.
Somebody must have called her agent.
Yes. 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 Somebody was spying and called the agent, and the agent is like, you know what, you might want to rethink that. How about only speak when you're spoken to? How about that?
Yeah. And just do your fucking job. People, this is another thing. Yes, there are the artiste guys or girls in the business, but at the end of the day, it's a job. You
Right.
have to pay taxes like everybody else. In my case, I have a dick like everybody else. There is this big part of the job that is not so special. You go to work, you have a time, you have a plan, you have a schedule, and then you are going through the schedule of the day. Okay, I have choreography, and then I have a music rehearsal, oh, a stage rehearsal, oh, a new costume fitting, and then you get home. You know, it's a
Right.
very easy life. They're making it in the theater very easy for you. You can basically take your brain, leave it at the stage door, and just follow the fucking plan. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Rachel, it was apparently hard.
Well, again, I am just waiting. I am waiting for that moment where Spielberg and Lucas decide that they are going to do a tell-all
Maybe we get a book.
interview.
Oh, a nice
And
shady book.
right.
That would be nice.
So, yeah, because I mean, I know that yeah, George Lucas took a lot of shit because of his horrible prequels and stuff. And people said, oh, that's it for George Lucas. He doesn't have what it takes to direct his own, property anymore and blah, blah, blah. And then Lucasfilm or Disney was like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Wait, you think that ruined the legacy of Star Wars? Wait until you see what we have
We
planned
have
for
cooked
it.
up
Yeah.
what we have in the storage, in the run.
Right. And he's got to be furious about it. He must be. Even though he created the worlds and he, had that incredible breakout success with the first three or parts 4, 5, and 6, he's got to be livid with what
Yeah.
they've done and what they've done to Indiana Jones. Spielberg must be furious about it too, especially because Kathleen Kennedy was his protege. She worked for him for years.
For decades.
Yes. And to see what has been done with those incredible movies. And this is getting me on to the next topic. I'm going to drop a link in chat. So the other morning, we were watching YouTube and this channel came up. This channel does fantastic documentaries about directors, about movies, and so on. And we watched this documentary about the making of the Terminator, which I didn't think was going to be as interesting as it was, but it was fascinating because James Cameron was coming off the giant flop of Piranha 2. And he came up with this vision for the Terminator, and it's the story of how it got made. And one of the things that I loved about it was that because Arnold Schwarzenegger was already scheduled to play in or star in Conan the Barbarian, they couldn't start shooting right away. They had to wait for that to be over. And for, the movie to come out and all the publicity and everything. So in his spare time, Cameron just threw together a script for Aliens 2, which is the greatest of all the Alien sequels. Just,
And
like
considered one of the top 5 action movies ever made.
Yeah, amazing. And the way that they put this movie together, and the animatronics, and the puppets, and everything else, it's absolutely fascinating, especially, and you can also see how incredibly helpful Cameron's then wife was in terms of getting the financing and so on. I mean, it was a lot.
Do it by himself.
No, he couldn't. So, and, that is what established Cameron as a director who basically became, Terminator was such an unexpected breakout hit that from that point on, he could do no wrong. And he's one of the few directors who's allowed to run wildly over budget. And the studio gets mad and harumphs a bit, but they know that his movies are going to do really well.
Yeah.
And he can show at every second a screenshot of his dining room with all the Oscars from Titanic.
That's right.
You said what? You said what?
That's right. That's right. Now, I'm wondering if all these avatars are necessary, but that's neither here nor there.
It's only 5, Clara. Only 5.
Only 5. Can you imagine?
And allegedly, the next one is only 4 hours long.
No, see, and see, this is the other thing, right? When directors get to the point where they've won so many awards and they've done so well at the box office that they stop listening to their editors, like Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese and James Cameron, and it's like 4+ hours of Avatar. Are you fucking kidding? Really?
And allegedly, the first showing to the studio from Avatar 3. Yeah, 3. Went as follows. James Cameron was saying, I show you now the first edit of Avatar 3, and this is the final edit.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Otherwise, you don't have even to come. This
Right.
is the movie I made. Boom. Okay, well, I guess then the next one is 4 hours. Then okay, we do that. Yeah. we'll do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. 4+ hours, sure. Okay. By the
And
way,
then
go on.
then there's Mark Webb, the director of Snow White, and cannot talk to this girl when James Cameron is going there and here, look at this, look at them.
Well, well. I mean, listen, the studio did try, right? They flew Mark Platt out to New York to have a conversation with Zegler,
We give him that.
and she wouldn't listen.
Imagine that.
I can't imagine. Mark
That your
Platt,
understanding of the world is so small.
right? Exactly.
And
Exactly.
guys, have you listened to this live stream so far? Our problem with Snow White and Rachel Zegler is not that she is a Latina.
No,
No, it has nothing to do with that.
no.
The same is with me, personally, with The Little Mermaid. Halle Berry was never the problem.
Right.
It's a mermaid. I don't care what color she has.
Right.
I really don't. As long as she can sing the fucking song.
Yeah.
And she could. She did
Right.
really well. Sorry.
Right. And she dealt with all of the criticism because of the race swap
Yeah.
really, really well, which is why she still has a career and Rachel Zegler doesn't.
Yeah. And that was without any examples. Out of nowhere, she was the first in this, let's say, 2000 area that had to dealt with this race swapping, racism, and whatever, everything
Right.
that was thrown at her.
Yeah.
She was the
exactly.
first, and she did it really, really well.
Yeah, that's right. So I was telling Karsten that the same channel, Heavy Spoilers, did a little documentary about RoboCop, and which was directed by Paul Verhoeven.
The next crazy one.
And I was thinking, wow, we had this amazing golden age where in the 70s you had these movies that were really gritty, mostly filmed in New York. Crime movies, you had Taxi Driver, you had The French Connection, you had The Godfather, you had all of those movies that were directed by young, relatively unknown directors who were given quite a bit of freedom to explore the stories. And then in the 80s, you had these big action movies that were super entertaining. Oh, and in the 70s, you had Star Wars also.
Yeah.
Then you had Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you had all those great, like, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and you had those great summer
The establishment
movies.
of the summer movies, what you always say.
Yeah,
The big summer blockbusters
The big
were
summer
established.
events. The big summer events. And then you got into the 90s. And the 90s were also a lot of fun. You had Independence Day. You had Mission Impossible going. You
The
had
Die
all
Hard
these,
movies.
right. Right, the Die Hard movies too. Exactly. And then
Something happened.
and Disney was doing really, really well.
Oh yeah, with the
their live
Renaissance
action.
era.
Yes. Disney was doing really well, and then something happened. Something happened. And
The
all of a
millennium
sudden,
changed everything.
that's right.
But
Not
I
that-
really think you are onto something with the streaming services. It
Yeah.
was too much to handle. In the beginning, it was cute that you didn't have to go to, I'm sorry for all the Blockbuster video stores out there, but
Right.
that you could watch. And the concept was brilliant. Okay, let's take all the VHSs and bring them on a streaming platform so that you can watch at home.
Yeah.
And you pay by movie or like on Prime or on Netflix monthly. What a great idea.
Yeah.
And then they started to say, hey, we can do it, we can produce our own movies and TV shows.
Yep.
And I think that was the moment where everything exploded into oblivion because there were too many ideas, too many shows, too many people.
And TV bloomed, on the cable channels. You had The Sopranos, you had The Wire, you had Breaking Bad, you had Better Call Saul, you had these incredible,
X-Files.
The X-Files, you had, well, The X-Files was in the 90s.
Lost.
Lost was in the 90s also.
Oh, God, I'm old.
But then you had these, you had Oz, you had these amazing shows on HBO. Okay, so HBO was leading the charge. And you had amazing writers who were working on these shows. And they were clearly given a lot of freedom to write as they thought was best. And they broke through a lot of boundaries in terms of the topics, in terms of the acting, in terms of all of that. And then you had streaming. So all of these great writers fled to TV and they fled to streaming. And now you have these movies that are garbage, that are shit.
But at the same time, you have also big Hollywood stars saying, why not? I do a film for Netflix.
Yeah,
Miss Amazon Prime, Nicole Kidman.
right. Yeah,
No,
why
no, no,
not?
I don't want the stress anymore. I do my little TV movies. I get paid greatly. Because I think that these streaming services shows are financially somewhere between regular TV and movie.
Yeah,
And somewhere there is the range what Amazon and Netflix are paying.
right. And it seems to be very obvious that the people who are working for the studios now really don't give a shit about movies. They don't care. I was telling Karsten that where are the Quentin Tarantinos and the Martin Scorseses who are like encyclopedias of every genre of movie ever made? Quentin Tarantino who briefly revived blaxploitation, or some of these other genres that were dead and gone,
And for the streaming services, it is very easy because they can now go and produce in Asian areas or India.
Right.
And so the whole Bollywood swamp is coming over, and you
Yeah.
have Squid Game, Alice in Borderland, all these great TV shows from over there. Maybe because American directors are saying, for fuck's sake, after everything that I have done, you want me to direct an Amazon show?
Right.
Really? And maybe they are holding on to their chair and saying, no, I wait. And
Yeah.
maybe this is a good tactic. I don't know.
But it just, I don't know. I mean, you can tell with a lot of these studios that the passion has gone out of movie making and that these people really don't care about movies, and that they got used to making a lot of money on prequels and sequels using, doing the superhero movies and stuff, and that they got lazy, and they started to take the audience for granted. And then to turn around and insult the audience and call them names when the audience says, you know what, I don't understand why you decided to do it this way, or what's with all the race swaps, or why are you doing so many Star Wars shows and movies that are so substandard? What's going on? And then the immediate reaction is, well, the reason that you don't like these shows is because you're a bigot. No, it's because they're bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this squabbling with the audience was really unseemly and unnecessary. And these directors were going out and just going ham. And it's like, you know what? Maybe you just made a really bad movie. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. And what are we saying now also for months? It's always A24
Yes.
who are really doing old-fashioned filmmaking, basically, and bringing good stories and with actors that you would not expect here and there.
Correct.
And and in between, somehow Universal got a hold of Wicked and did that.
Right.
But A24, but they have to learn to market
Yeah,
their
they do.
products
They do.
for award seasons, for everything, basically.
I mean, basically, A24 has taken the place of Miramax, except they don't do
Yeah.
costume dramas. They don't do period pieces, like the Merchant Ivory films or whatever. But their stories, the scripts that they pick are amazing in a whole wide variety of genres. I mean, who would have thought to cast Hugh Grant in a horror movie? And it was
Yeah.
terrific. It was really terrific. It was worth seeing. You do movies about the Holocaust, you do horror movies, you do movies about a wrestling family with terrible tragedy, like the Kennedys of the wrestling world. And they're movies, like, even if I'm not interested in the subject matter, if A24 releases a movie, I say, well, that's one that I'm going to be
Yeah.
watching, or I'm going to think about it,
And I really took A24 serious with the whole story surrounding The Whale with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, take a fantastic stage play and take the most random actor you can find
Right,
who's willing to wear that fat suit for weeks.
right.
Poor bitch. And did an incredible job. What a beautiful movie. How incredible sad.
Yeah, and Brendan Fraser, who had been written off as a joke, as a has-been,
Yeah.
and was pretty much considered to be box office poison, with all these personal problems, and nobody wanted to cast him, and then look, he won the Oscar.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And allegedly now he's coming back in The Mummy.
Really?
Making another Mummy movie, allegedly.
Okay.
It's nothing in writing so far. I mean, they want to reactivate the Mummy franchise, definitely.
Is that what am I thinking of? Is that
Mummy?
no,
Anna Nicole?
if you
Hey,
read
Anna.
Anna's comment,
Wolverine, Deadpool.
I thought that was Wolverine Deadpool.
Did you watch the trailer with the NSYNC bye-bye opening? Anna,
Are we wrong?
details.
Are we wrong?
Details.
Because that was one of the greatest movie openings. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I'm not a comic book person at all. And I thought, okay, well, everybody loves this movie. Everybody. So I went to see it in the theater last year. And I was sold on that NSYNC opening. I was sold. I loved it. It was great. And the movie was really witty.
Yep.
and really, really funny. And Anna, if you love that opening, a lot of people have recreated it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and it's really, really fun.
The
It's
guy
really
who's
fun.
dancing this opening is now Dance Pool, his official stage name. And he's
Really?
going on tour as Dance Pool.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Good for
He's
him.
trying to make a buck. Good for
Yeah,
him.
why not? Why not?
Because he's basically a street performer and he ended up by accident casted as this. Because they needed someone who could shut his mouth
Right.
so that nobody would know. And this was also the era of Ryan Reynolds, where everybody loved Ryan Reynolds. In the
And that was-
moment, not that much.
And that was only a year ago. Can you imagine how quickly your fate can shift when you bring idiotic lawsuits and you enable your stupid wife and you smear a perfectly reasonable individual, and then all of Hollywood turns against you? It's amazing, isn't it?
Blake
Oh, well.
Lively. Oh, well. It's not that it hits poor people. It's very unfortunate for the fans, for the real fans.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
They have their money. I wonder what's happening to the second movie.
I wonder too.
If he will be shady, finding another studio. I don't know how his contract is, but finding another studio with the rights of the book, and then cast maybe Blake Lively's biggest enemy
Oh my
for the
God.
sequel. I don't know. Something fun, you know? Something
Yes.
that we can talk about.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that Anna, what's her name? What is her name? The one who was just in the movie with her.
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick. Yeah, cast Anna Kendrick. Although at this point, I think that there's no shortage of people, of women in Hollywood who really are not willing to put up with Blake Lively's bullshit and are more than happy to take shots at her. Because I don't even follow that lawsuit anymore because it's so ridiculous. Like every single thing that's come out has been so ludicrous.
Yeah.
And it shows such colossally bad judgment that I can't believe that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are continuing with it. I mean, they have completely shot themselves in the foot with this shit, you know?
I
So,
want to know if we get a public thing in court, like now the P. Diddy case that started today.
right. Right. I don't know. That P. Diddy case is very, very grim. And
Yeah, it's not cute.
no, it's not cute.
Not at all.
And I just, no.
I just want, I personally want a little bit that not Justin Timberlake, that, what is his name? Not Justin Timberlake, the other, Justin Bieber,
Okay.
that he has the chance to get over whatever he experienced. I don't even want to know.
Well, I've noticed that in the past couple of weeks or months, he's been deteriorating,
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's because of the case.
I think so too. And it is horrible to see the state that he's in right now. It is horrible.
And I'm not the biggest Bieber, but he made a few really great songs that you can listen to when you clean your house, for example, your apartment.
Yeah.
And I want a little bit of closure for him. That is all that I
Yeah.
want.
So do I.
And if he goes now through hell a little bit, there's medication for it. For a few months, it's okay. It's okay. It will be okay at the end.
I feel so sorry for him. And I don't even know what happened to him. But I think that we can all guess. And I'm telling you, the photographs that have come out of him recently are shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. It's not
But again,
just the
the
weight
people are
loss.
going blind through the world, wondering, oh, what is with him? Yeah, well, P. Diddy is now, the shit show has not even started.
That's right. That's right.
The witness lists, oh my God.
Oh
I have
my
not
God.
seen them, but I can imagine it will not be pretty. The same with Blake Lively.
Yeah. And I don't know what the hell Mike Myers is doing with this P. Diddy case. I don't know why his name has come up in connection with it. But I have a feeling that there are going to be many things that are revealed that are going to be hugely disappointing. Not about Mike Myers necessarily. And maybe it's not even the same Mike Myers, I hope. But I think that a lot of things are going to come out that are going to be really shocking and disappointing. And on the one hand, it's about time all of this came out. And on the other hand, it's like you just want to hide in a bomb shelter, you know, because of the revelations that are going to come out. And I know that I will not be following it. I'm already up to here with all the bullshit that's going on in this country, and I'm not.
Which makes the Blake Lively case even more ridiculous and completely unnecessary.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask you if you have seen the video of those two women who worked for a staffing agency that staffed the Frontier Airlines ticket counter.
No.
Okay. It's a lot.
What's happening?
These two women who were incredibly rude to a customer, who apparently were removed from their jobs as ticket agents for Frontier Airlines. The rudeness of it was on another level. Okay.
Only these two ladies.
Yeah, these two women. The customer showed up, and he was told that he had to pay, like, I guess, an agent fee. Like, he had to pay a fee to get his airline ticket. I have since found out that, well, here's some background. Frontier Airlines is a fucking nightmare, okay? So if you are going to fly Frontier or Spirit, just know that you get what you pay for, which is nothing. You're going to get hassled, yelled at, dragged. And what I found out today was the thing about Frontier is that their ticket prices are very, very, very low, like insanely low. And then you realize you have to pay for everything a la carte. You have to pay to choose your seats. You have to pay for your baggage. You have to pay to take stuff on the airplane. You have to pay for the ticket agent to hand you your fucking ticket. You have to pay for everything separately. So by the time you're done paying for all these extras, you might as well have bought a ticket on Delta or American. You're not saving any money. Also, their departure and landing record is really shitty. So
I heard that name. You know where I heard the name of this airline? In my videos that I watch with Police Body Cam.
okay.
With Karens at an airport.
Right.
It's
right.
scary how many times you hear Frontier.
Well, because it's an airline, you know, that attracts cheapskates, and then they get mad that they're being charged for everything extra. Now, when Negz and I went to Vegas in January of 2023, and I was looking for airline tickets, and I went on Orbitz and I saw how low the price was for Frontier, I stupidly, with doing no research, decided to book on Frontier. And once I started getting hit with all these extra fees, I canceled the tickets immediately. I said, that's it. We're going to fly American. We're not flying Frontier. So when we got to the airport, I was still getting alerts from Frontier, because even though I had canceled the tickets, they were still texting me, you know? And they were texting me like, I think that the flight that we were supposed to be on left the next day. Okay? So that'll give you an idea of how horrible this airline is, you know? And that was just one experience where we, thank God, we were not on that plane. Because if we had been on that flight, I assure you that we both would have had nervous breakdowns in the airport. But these women were so rude. And then I found out that, you know how when you go to the airport and you have to put your carry-on in a bin to determine whether or not it's small enough to go in the overhead? Well, apparently Frontier's bin, the sample bin that they use, is smaller than the other airlines. So that then they can say that your bag is too big and they charge you extra. And apparently the ticketing agents were getting kickbacks for charging extra for people to take carry-ons on the flight. So Frontier is a garbage airline. It's the worst. Like, you, apart from all the extra fees, there's no assurance that you are even going to get where you're going,
Yeah.
within the same time frame.
We have
So
something in Europe called Ryanair,
it's like Ryanair.
where
It's
you
like
get a
Ryanair, yes.
plastic bottle of mineral water and a little small Pringles for dinner.
Yes, it's like Ryanair, and you see similar anger. So you've got Frontier and Spirit, and they're shitty airlines, but you get what you pay for. And I would not fly either. And one of the things, I was watching a Ty Rivera video, and he's like, I don't know why this customer was being such a Karen, because he picked that airline because it was so cheap. And now he wants to have a brawl over a $25 agent fee when he got to that point in the airport, and he should have realized, well, they charge you for everything, so why wouldn't they charge you for that? They nickel and dime you to death. And then they give you shitty service.
But to me,
again,
it sounds okay when you know it, when you really know,
Right.
aware of the consequences.
right.
If everything is coming as a surprise, I bet it's infuriating.
I mean, back in the 80s, there was an airline called People's Express where
Wow.
that charged nothing. And I mean, I was at Brown when they launched a trip to London for $100 from New York.
Wow.
And so some of my classmates were like, oh my God, we should go to London. Oh shit, nobody brought their passport. But at least there, you knew what you were getting, and you knew that it was a low budget airline, so you got no frills. And it's the last airline I would want to fly transcontinental. Fuck that, no way. But Frontier, man, no way. Just do not fly Frontier. Pay a little extra. You don't have to deal with all this bullshit and this attitude at the ticket desk.
And it's not that you're paying thousands upon thousands extra for
No.
a good airline.
No, exactly. It's just like a couple of $100 extra.
Yeah.
So just skip Frontier, skip Spirit, just don't fly those airlines unless you really want to end up having a heart attack. It's just not worth it. Have you ever flown Ryanair?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? What's it like?
The only thing I missed at Ryanair was when you are going into the seating area, that there are handles like in a bus.
Oh,
This I was missing. I thought, okay, this would be the next step.
right.
This
I
is how
see.
low class it is.
Yeah.
But because it is so low class, for example, when I have an audition in Berlin and I really want home quickly and I'm not willing to go by train and I want a plane, you always get Ryanair.
Yeah.
Here, I need a ticket in 20 minutes. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Here's the money, here's the ticket, go.
Yeah.
Do you have? And then they're yelling at you. Do you have your passport? Yes, I have. Okay, go. When you really want to travel really fast.
All that I know is that every time that the Daily Mail publishes an article about some brawl on a flight in Europe, it's always Ryanair. It's never another airline. Never. It's always
But the good thing
Ryanair.
is, we know this. But when you have suddenly a few Australians, for example, on the plane that are going from Vienna to Berlin or the other way around, they are shook to death.
I'll
They
bet.
are scared death.
I'll
You have
bet.
to tell them this is normal. This is not a normal plane. This is Ryanair.
Right.
You will arrive there.
Yeah.
They're all coming down.
And see, here's Kay saying you might see a brawl on a Spirit flight. Yeah, Spirit and Frontier are like Ryanair.
Yeah, that's also
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And Crochetter has been watching a lot of body cam footage videos,
Oh my God, yes.
That-
I have to admit it, and I'm not proud of it.
and they take place in like the scariest place where you can see people getting out of control, and that's an airport.
Tampa.
Tampa Airport.
A
Why?
lot of time Tampa. I don't know why. But
That is so
apparently
random.
Tampa is a melting pot of alcoholics.
Wow. Okay, that's weird. Not Miami, not O'Hare, not Kennedy.
JFK. Nope.
It's
No.
almost every time temper, temper, temper.
That is crazy.
And these freaks are not only screaming Karens. They put work in it. This is a workout.
Okay.
The poor policemen, they are done for the day after one of them.
Right. Right. So what, are they just drunk or, you know?
Mostly drunk, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, mostly drunk. But then we know from a big airport how far the way is from the parking space to the counter. Doesn't matter which one. It's always a day trip around the airport for you. Now imagine the police, they have to carry this person to the police car place outside.
No. No.
No, in most cases, they take a wheelchair and the person gets strapped in the wheelchair and then they are pushing her.
No, honestly, if I saw somebody having a breakdown in an airport or on a plane, I would have a heart attack.
And it's always because the most stupid reasons, because they cannot hold their liquor. They cannot behave.
Yeah.
Or when this thing with suddenly the captain inside the plane is deciding everybody has to go because of this one person.
Correct. Correct.
You need police in that moment so that the other ones are not killing her or him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually
absolutely.
it's always a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 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 No.
There are not so many gentlemen.
No. Honestly, I mean, the Indianapolis International Airport is so civilized. It's so quiet. It runs so well. And you never see this kind of nonsense. I mean, even at JFK, even at Miami, which are airports that could definitely get on your last nerve for many, many reasons. No.
You just need to be on the right mindset. You know the day will be horrible.
Yes.
You have to wait. You cannot count on anything.
Right.
So just sit down, take a crossword puzzle, crochet, keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
That is all that you can do, and be thankful for everything that works out in your favor.
That's right. That's right. No. No, 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 no. I mean, I don't know when I will ever travel again on an airline, but I can promise you that if I see the slightest sign of something kicking off in the airport, I'm out. I'm out. Keep my ticket. I don't care. I'll complain to Orbitz later.
And make money of it. Or make a video.
Yeah, that's right.
And make content out of it.
No, 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 no. No, it's
I
too
cannot
much.
wait to stand in JFK or Indianapolis airport with my little Austrian uniform and a willy in my hand, yelling, "Hello,
Yes.
hello,
Yes.
help." Have you drunk somebody? No, I know I don't drink at all.
I fucking hate that airport so much. I had to fly out of there when I went to Israel because I had to, that's where I transferred onto El Al. And I swear to God, when I was flying back and I landed in New York and I was trying to find my goddamn suitcase and all of the, all of those screens that show which carousel your bag is coming out on, they were all wrong. And I was standing at the wrong place. And I was thinking, God damn it, did they lose my suitcase? Am I really going to have to go through this nightmare now? No. It was at a totally different baggage carousel on a totally different area. And you know how big JFK is?
Yes.
What a nightmare it is. Okay, so...
But I think this is a big difference between you and me, personally. You are the one who is trying to figure shit out by herself.
Yeah.
While I'm the one who's asking everybody at the airport.
Oh, trust me, I did that too.
And right from the very beginning, starting in the cab.
Yes.
I'm asking everybody.
Yes.
Not because I feel lonely, because I want to I'm not even trying to attempt to figure out all the shit by myself. When there are lovely people that I can annoy by just ask them.
Right. Well,
well,
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, as we're talking, my enthusiasm for travel has diminished, even though I know that Like, I haven't had a bad experience in so long at an airport or on a flight or anything that the chances of something happening are like slim to none. But still, it's stressful and it's a problem. And
If you are up for it one day, if you want to see the one of the worst airports that I have ever witnessed,
Oh my
it's
God.
Mykonos.
Really,
It looks like a subway stop.
really,
It's also the same size.
wow, Mykonos,
Yeah. And you would
interesting.
think that one of the richest islands there with the
Yeah.
most tourist money because fags and gays and stuff, they're making good money. And oh, God, I thought I would die when we landed and when we started.
Yeah.
And the next are all of them, the airports, except Beijing in China. When you fly in a country. In
Really?
these little machines with propellers.
No, 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 no.
Ryanair is luxury compared to them. You think you are on the Indiana Jones plane
No,
from the Temple of Doom in China.
no, sir. I flew one of those prop planes when I was in Vegas years ago, and I booked a tour of the Grand Canyon. And I really thought that I wasn't going to make it. It was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And those prop planes scare me half to death anyway. So no. So when Negz and I went to Vegas, I did not book one of those flights because I knew that we would
Yeah.
both be like, white knuckling it the whole time.
It was
No, no,
nice
no,
meeting you. Hold my hand. Thank you.
no. Are there any other topics that you
Oh,
want to talk about?
yesterday I had a cute experience with my police body cam footage.
Oh,
There
okay.
was a lady that was drunk, but she was. Usually people are annoying for me personally when they are drunk.
Yeah.
But this person, yes, she was annoying, but she was so cute.
Oh,
A young girl, early 20s, when she was asking the policeman, "Are we on a date?"
oh no.
You know, one of those. Can
of
I have a
those.
hug?
Oh,
Can I have a cigarette or a tequila?
oh my
In
God.
this very kind, slow voice.
Yeah.
She was not fighting anything. Why do I get handcuffs? I thought we are on a date. She
Oh
was
my
really,
God.
really cute.
Oh my God.
But the other ones who are almost destroying the police cars on the inside,
Yeah.
spitting everywhere, everybody until they get this net thing over their head so that they cannot spit at anybody.
Oh,
Or they're
God.
getting restrained, the legs, because they're kicking everybody. And then you have one, thank God, in the police car after 40 minutes and 3 extra cars. And the one police guy is saying to the other one, "You know what? I rather fight 3 guys that are taller than me instead of one female teenager,
Wow. Okay.
just physically."
God, imagine getting that belligerent over nothing. You
And
know?
it is most of the time over nothing.
Right.
Because they are, I told you, there is this protocol that every policeman is going through in every state. And and they have to follow it religiously because they are filming.
Yeah.
So if they're fucking up somebody's treatment, how they treated them into the car, in the police car, everything is on film, so they have to behave.
Right.
And let's say this is okay for 99% of all the cases. Black sheeps are everywhere, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not talking about the black sheeps. I'm talking about the regular policemen who are doing this horrible job when they are talking through there, because you can immediately turn your head off. As soon the police has you, they have you, and they don't let you go until they get what they want.
Exactly.
There's no game that you can play.
Oh, speaking of which, I know what we forgot to talk about.
Oh,
And this was so obvious.
is it Wicked related?
No, sir, because there's nothing to report, unfortunately. Apparently, NBC is going to have some big extravaganza, and we'll let you know as the time comes.
In November, after the movie premiere.
That's right. That's
For
right.
good reason, I bet.
Okay. So, these stupid fucking IRL streamers who are
Oh, yeah.
getting arrested in foreign countries.
Oh, let me quickly get a cigarette, my darling.
Oh, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah, just a second.
You know, Breeze, the funny thing is that I saw, let me put your comment up. I saw that footage years after that incident, and I was pretty shocked
Because
by
this
how
is very special
crazy.
packetry. I need reinforcement.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Where's my vape? Here it is.
My vape is not good enough, and also it's empty.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that Nikita Dragon footage was a nightmare. A nightmare.
When she's sitting there without trousers
Yeah,
and peeing. Oh, I pee. Okay. You do that, Nikita. You do that.
right, right. And how incredibly angry she was when the cop showed up, and how angry and belligerent and rude she was at the police station. And it's like, I get it. It's like a combination of substances and mental illness and having a massive nervous breakdown and all that. But holy shit,
Yeah.
that was bad.
Really bad.
And I don't think that she'll ever recover from that. I don't think so. However,
Bretzel is bringing up a good thing. Laughing and peeing and degrading the cops. The
Right.
nerves, I'm not surprised. There was this one TikTok video where a blonde policewoman sitting in the car wanted a coffee in a drive-through, and for some reason the coffee machine was gone. And that was it, and she started crying. And making this video where she has asked, guys, please give us a break.
yeah,
And of course, people are laughing about this. But after watching this police footage from
Yeah.
in the last weeks that I've watched, I completely relate
yeah,
to this, that you must be exhausted.
yeah. Imagine.
Because even if it's just a traffic violation, because you ran over a stop sign,
Right.
something simple, because of the procedure that the police has going through with you, it takes forever.
Right.
And this
Yeah.
for an 8-hour or 10-hour shift? No,
No.
not
Absolutely
for that
not.
money.
No. No.
Sorry, yeah.
So-
Influencer, yeah.
These idiotic IRL streamers who go overseas and decide that it's going to be a really great idea to be incredibly disrespectful or break the law or be a giant asshole in order to make money. And they keep on getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I'm not sure what exactly is going on. But I mean, I was telling Karsten that I was watching the footage of what Ice Poseidon did when he was in Thailand, and how the manager of the restaurant that they were in was absolutely adamant, like, you've got to lock this guy up, fuck this guy, whatever.
Yeah. Not worth it.
And I was thinking, God, he needs to be locked up if for no other reason that he ran that crypto rug pull scam. And then when he was asked, are you going to return the money? He said, absolutely not. I mean, he's a crook, right?
Yeah.
And now he's stuck in this like hellish reality where he has to, it's like Black Mirror. It really is like Black Mirror, that this is his reality now, that he has to do more and more extreme things on camera to make money. And it's like, he just sickens me. But then you've got this Johnny Somali guy who is incredibly lucky that he was not arrested in Israel. He's incredibly lucky that he wasn't locked up long term in a Japanese prison. And now here he is in South Korea, and he's screwed. He's absolutely screwed.
Especially that he has not, basically no money.
Yeah.
Because all the platforms have deplatformed him, and he's sitting there, but he cannot stop.
No.
Telling on live stream that his next plan is to rent a boat to flee.
Oh, got it.
Why would you do this on a live stream?
So you announce it on a live stream. That sounds like
Yeah.
a great idea.
Or wearing for the next trial date, wearing a Ku Klux KKK costume.
Right. Okay.
Because it's so fun.
Well, and then this Vitali guy who is in the Philippines, which is one of the last countries where I would want to be incarcerated. you know. And let me just explain something to the Americans who are watching this. Before you travel abroad, would it be too much trouble to study up on what is and is not acceptable in the culture that you're going to be immersed in?
Yeah. We have a whole travel community on YouTube with
Yes.
little 10-minute videos on what you'd better not do in Germany, Austria, or anywhere on this planet.
There you go. It's not like the information isn't readily available. You don't even have to watch Locked Up Abroad, okay? You watch these videos and you say, okay, well, if I go here, then I can't do this. Or this behavior is not acceptable in this setting, right?
Yeah.
And then to go and openly defy these cultural norms, you know, is nothing short of suicidal, you know. If, for example, you are a woman traveling alone in Dubai, you have to be very, very, very careful. You can get easily swayed because of the shopping and the beaches, and you think, oh, wow, this is a great place. No, no, no. It's very easy to break the law
Yeah.
in the Emirates, in the Middle East in general. So you cannot just think that because you're an American and you wave your passport that you're not going to get in trouble. And the embassy cannot help you, okay? If you are getting caught, well, if it's a serious crime like drug running or something, the embassy is not going to do shit for you,
No.
you know? All that they can do is say, well, maybe we can find you a lawyer, but they're not going to get you sprung. And I guess that Johnny Somali and this Vitali guy are under the impression that the State Department is going to move heaven and earth to rescue them. Why would they do that? You people are assholes. You go over there, you deliberately provoke the locals. And now you expect that there's going to be like what, some SEAL Team 6 extraction? Go fuck yourselves, both of you.
Imagine you are Somali and you're pissing the country off to the limit that the president of the country is making a TV statement because of you.
Imagine.
Good luck with the embassy
Yeah, good luck with the embassy.
when Mr. President is pissed.
Right. Right. I mean, I remember that there was a case back in the 90s. He was a kid who was in Singapore. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I guess the father worked in Singapore, or he had some sort of a diplomatic role. I don't know what he was doing in Singapore, maybe banking, whatever. And the kid decided that he was going to go ham in Singapore, which is not a country where you want to go ham. Singapore has the toughest rules and laws on the books when it comes to littering, when it comes to creating a public nuisance and all of that. And the kid decided to run around breaking antennas off of cars and doing all kinds of other crazy shit. And he was arrested. And in Singapore, the punishment, I don't know if it still is, but at that time it was caning. And so the kid was going to get caned. And it turned into this big incident with Bill Clinton coming out and making some statement. But there were a lot of people who were saying, look, caning is awful and it's a terrible punishment and nobody should go through it. But that kid had it coming, you know, because you do not go to a country like that and be so flagrantly disrespectful of their laws that are not that hard to abide by. And they're not exactly kept a secret. And the kid was caned. I think he got maybe like 5 strokes or something. So they reduced it from whatever it was.
5 strokes you will never forget.
No, absolutely not. So, oh yeah, I do remember this, and it was unbelievably fucking embarrassing. Unbelievably embarrassing. Like, really? Okay. And by the way, do you know how cushy Swedish prisons are? You know?
They are a spa.
They are, with their IKEA furniture and their climbing walls and their yoga. Or maybe that's Norway. Is there a difference? No, I don't think so.
Not really.
But
I mean, we can say this to a Swedish or Norwegian person.
Right. So
it's like saying Germany and Austria is the same. Never do that.
No, don't. And don't call a Persian an Arab, because you'll be hearing from them.
They chop your hands off.
So anyway, this is the only thing that you can say is don't be an asshole when you travel overseas, especially if you are in a country that has very, very strict laws on the books regarding certain types of behavior.
Yeah.
And when it comes to disrespecting the culture, that could literally mean anything. So just don't do anything stupid. Okay? Just don't. Why would you anyway? What is the
Yeah,
point?
you're traveling because you want to enjoy yourself, except when our host here, Miss Clara, is deciding to go to Gaza because
Right.
reasons.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise, you really want to enjoy yourself, and the police can make the decision. Okay, this is a tourist who accidentally made a really stupid mistake,
Right.
but it happened already 5,000 times in the last 5 days.
Right.
So we give him the warning and let him go. But when you are purposely an IRL streamer, you go to
Right.
these countries just for content,
I don't get
for
it.
this kind of content. No, I'm
I
sorry.
don't get it. And I would be very curious to know how much money they make doing this kind of content because it cannot be worth it. It can't.
And
It can't.
the Russian guy who
Yeah.
has a cameraman that is local
Right.
and has no influence on saying, dude, you cannot do that.
Right. And now the cameraman's in trouble too.
Yeah, I think they're still looking for him. He's on the run.
Oh my God. I don't know. I was really intrigued. I was really intrigued by what's going on with that Vitali guy. And then the more that I watched, the angrier I got. And I said, fuck it.
I
Just
think
fuck
with
it.
the Vitali guy, now that he is in prison and is waiting for his trial, they will not coming anything. Except when, imagine that, a world leader is getting him out of it before
Right.
the trial.
Right.
Otherwise, he will stay there now, has to endure it until his trial next year, the next year after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no, and they're not in any rush to
No.
conduct that trial. This guy could be locked up for years waiting for a trial. For years. And I don't think that he's got the kind of money that he needs to pay enough people off to get him out of this mess. So he's got a problem.
Maybe the Somali guy, maybe he gets lucky at the end.
Oh my
Because
God.
he is in his hotel, he's not in jail. But he has to learn a lesson. And I think so far it has not been enough.
No, no, absolutely not.
I don't want. I said this to you. I don't want him to be in jail for 20 or 30 years.
Right,
But he has to learn somehow a lesson, and it cannot be a financial one.
exactly.
It must be something very uncomfortable.
Right, right. That you cannot just. You can't just do that shit. You cannot
No.
just travel abroad and flagrantly like be disrespectful and be a giant asshole in public and behave that way because again, you just I don't know, I hate it and I hate seeing Americans getting caught up in this because it's like the worst stereotype of Americans abroad and how arrogant we are and we think that the passport is going to get us out of trouble and it doesn't and it's just like no. Don't do it.
No, but when somebody's getting angry about an American, I think they can always point, but look, we have Wicked. We made something beautiful.
We made something that
Not
all
that
of you
this is
can
a
love.
stretch in any way, shape, or form, but
Right.
we've made Wicked for you.
That's right. That's right. I know. Our wicked obsession carries over into every area.
Oh, God.
Because we're just waiting for that goddamn trailer. We're waiting.
Yes.
And we're waiting very impatiently. Our feet are tapping now.
And I'm just saying for the audience out there, not that Clara and I are crazy, but I'm expecting from Clara every time at every chemotherapy, I want to hear the war scream. I want to hear that. I want a recording when they are injecting the chemo in her, that she
Right.
is maybe, ah! I
Yep.
need that in my life.
Oh my God. And you know damn well that when I'm going through treatment, I'm going to be watching the Defying Gravity scene about 1,000 times in a row.
Yeah. No,
Because that's what you need. You know, you've been through chemo. You know how that is.
Yeah.
You just need something. You need something pleasant and uplifting to watch. So
when you get chemo brain. Have I watched Wicked today already? You have
That's
watched
right.
500 times. But I will tell you, no, you haven't.
That's right.
because that's the kind of friend that I am.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so I've got to line up my viewing
Yeah.
requirements.
We have to plan this, organize it, and we have also arrange it that it fits well in your chemo treatment.
Right.
It must make sense. We have to make it. I have to write a list. I'm German. I have to make a list.
And I can't forget where I put the list. That's the other thing.
Oh, I
That was-
keep the list, and I
Okay,
send
good.
you reminders every day.
Oh, that's good. That's really helpful, actually. That's
course.
really helpful.
That's what friends are for.
Yep. Yep. All right, my friend, we have been on for 2.25 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so I would like to go get something to eat.
I need a piece of cake. I have one.
Yeah, you do have a piece of cake. Guess who doesn't have a piece of cake? Moi. But I'll
Next.
manage.
Next. Emergency. Next.
I need emergency pastry.
Yes, please. Pastry.
All right.
She needs a pastry.
All right, my love. I want to thank you for providing this timeline cleanse because I desperately needed to have a pleasant conversation.
I think we all need that.
Yeah, we
I
all
hope the
do.
audience also gets something out of it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot watch a lot of other channels all the time. You cannot do this. This is
No.
not good for the brain. I'm not saying that we are good for the brain, but a cleanse or some listening to something other while you are cleaning your apartment is great.
I want to
It's
thank you
great.
all for watching two homophobes talk about Hollywood and musical theater and all of that. It's great.
Yeah, because we hate them all.
Yes, we do.
I guess.
All right, my love. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Oh my God. I didn't mean to cut him off like that. I'm sorry, Karsten. I am so sorry. I apologize. So anyway, I do not know what I'm going to be streaming about next. I never know. I mean, it just so happens that Karsten and I were talking today as per usual, and I said, "How would you like to hop on stream?" And he said, "Sure." So we'll see. We'll see what the next topics are coming up. To be honest with you, I haven't really been that keen on streaming lately because the news is all so bad and I feel weird and my mind is in a weird place and all of that because of all the stuff that I'm looking forward, not like in, yay, I can't wait for this to happen, but because I'm planning going forward. And so I've been a little bit absent-minded and a little bit lazy. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. I really do appreciate everyone being here. You know, Karsten will tell me, "Oh, I'm sorry that our views were so low." And it's like, I don't give a shit about the views. I just want to have a pleasant conversation about a variety of topics that are not usually discussed in this corner of whatever community this is. And if the views are lower, the views are lower. Who gives a fuck, you know? As long as it's pleasant and we can talk about things that we always talk about on the phone, so why not? But anyway, but you know, he's my beloved dear friend and I adore him. He is one of my closest friends in the world. And so I love to share him with you guys because he is truly a treasure, a wonderful human being. All right, you guys. Well, again, I want to thank you for being here. And until next time, I will see you guys later. See you later, guys.